Hi, my name's Samantha Jacobson, and the topic that I chose was the social disorganization. And the social disorganization is a condition said to exist when a group is faced with a social change, uneven development of culture, a maladaptive disharmony, conflict, and a lack of consensus. We can look at the Chicago school studies from the 1920s to give us a better understanding of a social disorganization. The social ecologists Robert Parks and Ernest Burgess studied cities in a target-like model. They used 5 zones, each zone numbered from 1 to 5. Zone 1 is the innermost zone called loop. It equals to like retail businesses and light manufacturing and etc. Zone 2 is the surrounding zone 1 called zone in transition equals homes to improvised immigrant groups characterized by detourizing houses and factories and abandoned buildings. Zone 3 is the working class homes, and that equals to the second group of immigrants who escaped the poverty conditions of Zone 2. Zone 4 is residential zone, equals middle class citizens with single family homes. And then Zone 5 is the commuter zone, which is equal to the suburbs. Parks and Burgess noticed that the residents of an inner zone tended to migrate to the outer zone as their economic positions improved. This came to be known as the area studies, quote unquote, area studies. Since Chicago in the 1920s served as a focus to many of the sociologist studies, it became known as the Chicago School of Criminology. So Chicago School had demonstrated the tendencies for criminal activity to be associated with urban transition zones. Because of the turmoil of social disorganization, because of the turmoil or social disorganization that characterized them, and lower property values, improvised lifestyles, and general lack of privacy. Another thing that I want to talk about for social disorganization is it could be 1 or 4 things. I believe that it could be economic, and then religion, and all these things for disorganization or for social disorganization can lead people to commit crimes, and that could play a role in their home life. They are disorganized in their home life, they have trauma, and they just don't handle it well, or they have like strict parents who just don't let them do anything, and they hover over them all the time, don't give them any type of freedom. And or you can have the parents who just don't really care, and they let them go off and do whatever they want. Therefore, they're able to get into the bad crowds of people who do like robberies and the little crimes, not big crimes, but these little crimes is what triggers these people to go into crimes and to do them, like murder and bank robberies and big crimes like that. And then another one of the 4 is religion. And religion is basically like someone who's very spiritual, and they normally, when they go and do their crimes, they'll normally have some type of a religious base that they come from, that they do their crimes. And then there's also education, which is schooling. In my perspective, it would be schooling. And the way that schooling can go and interfere with disorganization is kids who are just thrown into schools in a bad area, and they just don't have a good record, and they can't do anything about it. It's just where they're put and where they have to be put, and they are also people who have social disorganization, which leads them to not think straight and do the crimes that they do. Another thing that the article told me about disorganization, for social disorganization, was we characterize the people who go out and do crimes and the people who are it's basically disorganization, but they call them ill. And those are the people who they'll go out and they'll commit a crime, they'll go to court, and then they'll testify as being ill at the time because they were brought up in a way that they shouldn't have been brought up, or religious beliefs, or all those things. And all the zones correlate with that as well. And that's pretty much a little bit about social disorganization.